Hello guys, welcome back to Olivia's Blooms. Today I am going to be planting garlic. It is end of September here in Charlottesville, Virginia, Zone 7A, and it's the perfect time for us to be planting garlic. So I'm going to show you how I do it and tell you just a few things about growing garlic. First, let me turn you around and show you what I have here on my table. So the first thing about growing garlic is you plant the cloves. And this is seed garlic, which just means garlic that you plan to replant from the crop that I grew this year. And this year I grew two different types, and I even have the tags that I saved. I have a Polish soft neck garlic. Soft neck garlic has just a soft neck that you can braid. This soft neck garlic, the cloves you can see are smaller. So for one head, I get a lot of cloves, probably 7 to 10. Now this is a hardneck variety. This is the music hardneck, a very popular variety. And hardneck garlic, at least this variety, has a stiffer neck, not as easy to braid. And I find that I get bigger and fewer cloves. So what I did this year when I harvested my garlic is after I cured it and cleaned it, I picked the biggest heads because the biggest cloves will grow the biggest heads of garlic, and the nicest, cleanest looking heads of garlic for my seed garlic. I saved 7 of the hardneck garlic because, again, fewer cloves. I'm only getting about 5 or 6 on these, and I think I saved about 5 or 6 of the soft neck variety. And what I'm doing now is I am separating the cloves, and this is what we will be planting. When you're separating the cloves, you want to keep the papery skin on as much as possible. But otherwise you separate it just like you would separate it if you are cooking. And this is going to be hard to do with one hand. I'll try and set you guys up, but you're just breaking apart the head of garlic into cloves. And what I'm doing is I'm looking to make sure the cloves are a good size. Now, smaller cloves, let me see if I can find an example. This is a little small, not too small, but if you have a smaller clove like this, you can still plant it. You just might get a smaller head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant the biggest cloves first, see if I can, my goal is to fill up an entire bed with garlic, and then if I have extra space, I might throw in some of the smaller ones. The other thing I'm doing is checking for bad cloves, and you will get a few. So if you can see, this clove is brown. I am not going to plant this one, which is unfortunate because look at the size of that baby. But I'm picking out anything that looks like it's going bad. And I've only got a couple so far, but these are pretty fresh, so I shouldn't have too many cloves that have gone bad. So I'm gonna continue to separate these, and next I'm gonna take them outside and we are going to plant them. So if you look at a head of garlic, you can see the roots come out the bottom, and the pointy end is where the top is, and that's how you're going to plant your cloves. So it's easy when, you know, the roots are attached. You're going to plant it big side down, pointy side up, 2 inches deep, about 4 to 6 inches apart. So let's finish separating these, and then we'll go outside and plant them. All right, the final tally, just for reference, of the soft neck garlic, I counted about 57 cloves from, I think I had 5 or 6 heads of garlic, so that'll be tons of plants for next year. And then my hardneck garlic, I ended up actually having, disappointingly, a couple of heads that were bad, and so I didn't use any of the cloves. So from about 5 of the heads of garlic, I got 36. So considering I pulled out 60 or 70 garlic plants, I only had to keep back a few for another year of 80 plus garlic plants. So really excited to get these in the ground. And this is my pile of small cloves that I may or may not plant depending on how much extra room there is. All right, so next step is to go outside and amend the bed. Okay guys, here we are in the bed I am going to be planting my garlic in. Now, I had corn in here, sweet corn, and I just pulled that out recently. Well, I didn't pull it out. I cut the stalks right at soil level, just like I do with all of my other vegetable garden crops, vegetables and flowers. And you can see I've got some volunteer carrots growing in here. I'm just gonna let those grow. They're not really gonna bother the garlic because I'll be pulling them out here in a few weeks. The garlic will still be pretty small by then. So the first step is I'm going to throw, I happen to have a bag of compost here. You don't have to do this step, but I'm gonna throw it in. And it looks like it already has some fertilizer in it. So I'm just gonna spread that around. I am gonna add some Biotone starter fertilizer as well. Now garlic is in the allium family, which means it is a heavy feeder. So it doesn't hurt to fertilize it, probably at planting and then in the spring, but again, I'm going to be trying more regenerative practices this year. So I'm gonna fertilize it before I put it in just because I have this fertilizer. But I think as soon as I run out of this fertilizer, probably next year, I'm gonna try growing garlic without fertilizing the soil just to see how it does, especially if I start implementing more cover cropping practices. Now that the soil is amended, what you could do to make this easy is just make a bunch of rows or trenches 2 inches deep. Since I have my drip line here, I'm just gonna go around the drip line about 2 inches deep. That's how deep we wanna plant our garlic. And I'm gonna make these rows about 6 inches apart. As long as they're between 4 and 6, there should be plenty of room for the garlic. And 2 inches is not very deep, so again, this is pretty easy. And then, once I have kind of these little trenches made, I will plant the garlic. And I'm gonna do one side will be the soft neck and one side will be the hard neck. I'm not too worried about it. Once they're up and growing, it's actually pretty easy to see the difference in the hard neck and the soft neck garlic. So, but I do have my labels and I will put them on the side that I'm going to plant them in. So, we'll start with the soft neck. I'm gonna put my label right here, and I'm gonna go along, plant these 2 inches deep and about 4 inches apart.
So you make sure, that's all.
Yep. All right, so that is all of my soft neck planted, and it took until about right here or so. So a little more than half the bed for 57. I ended up planting the little ones, so more like 60 cloves of garlic, and I spaced them a little bit farther apart than probably you need to. But the next step is I'm going to get my hard neck garlic in the ground. There should be plenty of room for that. Same process, same depth and everything. So let's get these in. All right, so that's the garlic planted. Took me about 15 minutes maybe, the actual planting part. I like to go back through and just make sure all of the cloves are covered. Sometimes they'll be sticking out still or popping up. Now, a couple other things about growing garlic. So garlic takes about 8 months to grow, and most of those months though conveniently are during the winter, which makes them a really convenient, easy fall crop to plant. I am planting mine here almost the exact same time I planted my garlic last year, and I harvested it at the end of June, and it was all ready to go by then. So that's about 8 months or so. Now you can water them in. I'm not actually going to water mine in because we are going to get a lot of rain here soon in the forecast. And I was reading about growing garlic, and even though I have a drip system here, you really don't need to water it in the fall or the winter. Really just in the spring is when you want to start a regular watering schedule. I did use drip irrigation to mine last fall though, and it didn't seem to hurt them. I had a great garlic crop, so I'm gonna do the same thing this year. A final note is a lot of websites recommend mulching your garlic. I have not traditionally mulched my garlic, and so that's worked fine for me, so I'm not going to. But if it's your first time growing garlic, or if you're growing in the ground, you might want to try mulch, especially if you're in a drier area. But that was all for planting garlic, and it's quick, easy, and so rewarding. And I've been cooking all summer with the garlic I grew last year. I don't think I bought a garlic clove in a long time, and I still have plenty to take me through the fall. So thank you for planting garlic with me today, guys. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Hey, update on the garlic, guys. This is about 10 days later from when I showed you my video. I ended up putting another layer of compost on that I happen to have, and I just wanted to show you. Here's the garlic starting to pop through. Very promising and exciting. And I'll show you their progress as the year goes on.